So let me begin by appreciating all our viewers and then to all Nigerians too that have been watching us since we began with this program. You are the reasons why we are here, and then we wouldn't budge. We would continue to carry you along on the things that you need to know about our governorship candidate and his running mates. Of course, politics is an interesting thing, and whether you are part of it or not, you have to be carried along because it affects your life, it affects your livelihood as well. And so that is why we are here, and then we are going to show you all the things that you need to know about this governorship candidate ahead of the 2023 general election. Well, my name remains Ambassador Isyaku Baba, and then I'm joined by my co-host
Hadiza Abdullahi in Kano. Just like my host has said, the political arena is fast heating up, and the elections are actually quite drawing very near.
Right.
Yeah, this is White Cap Crusade, and it's actually a production of the Bago Media Centre. And like you have rightly explained, what we do here, we bring in people to talk and discuss about our gubernatorial candidate, Right Honorable Umaru, and his running mate, Comrade Yakubu-led.
Yeah, so you must have been waiting to hear the topic that we have to discuss today. Well, it's media. Strengthening media by Bago administration is the topic of the day. And then we are joined by two ace media practitioners, and then I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. Okay. So let me begin with you.
My name is Bello Ibrahim. I am an aide to Comrade Yakubu-led.
Great. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
And then close to my right, Hadiza.
Thank you so much. My name is Ummi, Abdullahi. I'm a broadcaster and a journalist. I work with Crystal Radio, 91.3 FM.
Well, we're most welcome. And then today we are going to introduce this topic together because of the magnitude of the topic.
Yes.
Because I feel it's one of the, if I may call it, sectors that have really changed the scope of life since it came, on board, and it has to do with communication. It has to do with relationships with each other. Starting from two people, even up to becoming a nation and all. And then the government really needs to put this sector into limelight. They need to really give it the priority that it needs, and then this is why we are here. Well, if you've been waiting, the topic for today is media, like I've said earlier, and then
actually the role of the media can never be, I think, overemphasized. It has virtually taken over. Before elections were, like we said, door to door, even though they go there, but you find that at least 50% of the campaign virtually takes place on the media space, both social and conventional.
Correct.
I'm sure Abdullahi Kuta here, who is a broadcaster and a journalist, but also a politician, by say, I won't say. We have civil politicians now, just like the other comrades said. Right. She actually runs Team Hajia for Bago and Yakubu. It's actually a very serious movement. I follow her on Facebook. Well done for that.
Well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I think we're throwing the first question to her, right?
Yeah. But before you give us what the role of media is, because I think we are all media people here. Can you give us a background on what media is to start with?
Thank you very much. Like I said earlier, my name is Ummi, Abdullahi. I work with Crystal Radio, 91.3 FM. The media is an institution that connects from one individual to the larger society, and with the coming of the social media now, we have a global nation, and so I can tell you that the social media has taken over from the electronic and the print media. So I can tell you that actually the media is an avenue that information can be passed from one individual to the larger society. Thank you.
Oh, great.
I train the same question to Bello Ibrahim.
Well, media is an instrumentality either of the state or owned by a private entity which is used to disseminate information, pass idea, and sometimes influence opinion. I think the component of the media, which is the social media, is more of opinion influencing. We've had the conventional media, the print media, as well as the electronic media. In most cases, until recently, media was largely a monopoly of the government. But we've seen a private individual dwell into media practices. And by so doing, a lot of people now express their opinion freely, though with rules on censorship. But by and large, media is basically an instrumentality where information is passed from one person or group of persons to a larger audience. So that's the perspective of what a media is.
I really enjoy the fact that you mentioned it being an instrument that is used to communicate better. Media, what's the role of media in politics today? Because like it used to be before, like you've just mentioned, it's a monopoly of a thing, and in fact virtually anything someone say has to be pre-recorded, and there are also timeline to when you receive messages. That was when it was print media, but as time goes on, from print media we went to broadcasting media, and then we are now in new media, which is also the social media. So what are the roles that these medias all put together that are playing in politics that we need to know?
Based on the perspective of media, you will agree with me that the cardinal objective or principle of any media outlet is to pass information. Then basically information is power. I will give you an analogy. The British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, the Voice of America, as well as other foreign media outlets, spend millions of dollars every year to pass information to Africa.
Wow.
And this tells you how powerful media has been. I can tell you that in this part of the world, we are still trying to exploit the essence, the importance of media. And we will see frustration sometimes on even government officials. Just recently, President Buhari was caught on tape, where he was infuriated at the pace at which his media handlers were underreporting the government. That tells you how important the media should be in the real sense of the word. Why would the British Broadcasting Corporation, for example, BBC, that is all the way in the UK, be interested in casting news in Hausa, so that you have audience in Nigeria and elsewhere paying attention? They have diverse means now where news are casted in Pidgin English, in Igbo, in Yoruba. This tells you the power of passing information. Because if you can pass information and people pay attention to your information, you have the power of stereotyping, you have the power of propaganda. And the very moment government at anywhere or any institution gives a gap in information management, then definitely there will be crisis. Just as we have now avoidable crisis for emphasis. You have avoidable crisis when you refuse to exploit media to the maximum. And I think that's what we are currently experiencing across board, from the national, the state, and even local government. Media is not being put to maximum use.
I think we'll narrow it down to our own local level now. From your own experience, how would you say the media has actually helped in propagating this Bago movement?
Wonderful. Actually, the media has played a very, very vital and significant role in propagating the mandate of principal, the person of Right Honorable Mohammed and Comrade Yakubu Baba. because he has so many potentials. He has spent about how many years in the federal legislative, and he was only serving the people of Chechega local government. But now the candidature is giving him the opportunity to govern the whole people of Niger State. And so it gives the opportunity to the entire Nigerites to know who Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Bago is, because so many people are just hearing the name Umar Mohammed Bago, but they are not conversant with his activities, the doings and whatsoever. So, and like from the people from Agbara, Mokwa and other local government areas were able to know the impact that Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Bago has had to the people of Chechega local government.
The power of media.
Yes, and that's the power of the media, most especially the social media. You can say with the formation of so many groups in the social media, so many, it's showed the people that Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Bago has been doing what is supposed to be done by a serving governor or let's say a president of a country, but as a legislator representing just one local government area, that's the Chechega constituency. I think the social media really has done a very interesting and played a very vital role in propagating the candidature of Umar Mohammed Bago. So many people, women would be saying that I heard Umar Mohammed Bago is giving out sewing machines, grinding machines. He is giving out keke napep to some women groups and others. But don't we have legislators in our own local government areas? So this tell you that it really brings out the true picture of who Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Bago is and what he can be able to do if eventually elected come 2023 to serve the good people of Niger State.
And his running mate?
Yeah, Comrade Yakubu Baba.
I'm bamboozled really with the fact that the president, just to make reference to what you said earlier, made mention of issue of under-reportage of some of their activities. This further goes to justify the fact that media can make or mar any government. How do you give a better perspective to that?
Let me give you an analogy with the current government of Abubakar Sani Bello. Between 2007 to 2015, when Dr. Babangida held sway as the governor of Niger State, there were instances Niger State was getting up to 7 to 8 billion naira allocation from FARC. At that time, our wage bill was just around 3 billion naira. So technically, the government pays salary 100%. Will have comfortably about 4 to 5 billion naira in excess. That is one. During those times, a bag of cement was just around 1,800 naira, maximum 2,400 naira. It technically tells you could put up comfortably a structure of 1 billion naira and it will be an edifice. That is one. Secondly, a rundown to what we have now. There were moments when Comrade Yakubu Baba was the chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress in Niger State. During the era of coronavirus, there was global economic meltdown. Niger State at that period was getting just between 3 to 4 billion naira from FARC. These are reality. We are on television, and I know this will go public. These are verifiable. Niger State was getting just around 3 to 4 billion naira every month, and our wage bill was well over 4 billion naira. So at a point, the government was at a fix. And this brings us to the issue of percentage payment of salary and the issue of backlog of October salary. Because Niger State was at a fix. This is a statement of fact. It is a reality. You're getting 3 to 4 billion naira every month. Your wage bill will consume virtually all the money. Sometimes we have to borrow to augment for salaries. Who is making case for Niger State government? Nobody. Nobody has come out up till this minute to give this comparative analysis that at the time Talba was the governor, we were getting up to 7 to 8 billion naira. Our salary was just 3 billion naira. So comfortably, Talba could have 4 to 5 billion naira to spare. Are we getting the statistics?
The recurrent expenditure.
Now, in these instances, Lolo at a point was at a fix. He was getting 3-4 billion naira. Sometimes what we get from FAC was below what we used to pay salary. You could remember those periods, even the governor had to go on air. He was at loggerhead with the organized labor because the labor was insisting on payment of 100% salary, irrespective of how the government will source for money. And the government had an option of either retrenchment or percentage payment of salary. Comrade Yakubu Baba insisted not under him will anybody be retrenched in Niger State. It is better we go on percentage payment of salary, expecting that some days all these issues will be resolved. And all thanks to God, nobody lost his job. Even people that had issues with their certificate that were dismissed, somehow Comrade Yakubu Baba made case for them and were reinstated. So why am I buttressing this point? If you have an administration whereby your media is very, very poor and the management of information is near zero, then you will have people calling a government that is probably doing its best as ineffectual. And that's what we're having in this case. There's hardly any political word in Niger State that Governor Bello does not have up to a 10 million naira project. There is no political word in Niger State because a block of 2-3 classrooms will cost you up to 10 million naira. People sit down in their comfort zone and just make analysis. People tell you, for example, Bago does not have tangible project in Chanchaga Federal Constituency. Ask them, how much does it cost to construct just 100 meters of road? And you will laugh at their buffoonery because people don't actually know how much it costs to construct a road in present-day Nigeria. People don't know how much it costs to construct hand-pump borehole. People don't know how much it costs to construct a block of classroom. So all of these, when people are making noise, and nobody is dishing out the appropriate information, it will pass as the truth. The society is such that whatever comes out, if there is no rebuttal, it passes as the truth. If you say Bello Ibrahim is a thief, and I did not come out to counter that, it will pass as the truth. So if you're saying Bago has not done anything tangible, and nobody is telling us what Bago has done in Nasarawa A, nobody is telling us what he has done in Nasarawa B, nobody is telling us what he has done in Nasarawa C, it will pass as the truth. If people are telling us, for example, that Bago is responsible for the thuggery in Niger State, and people are not recollecting what Niger State was even prior to 1999, it will pass as the truth. So India media is very, very instrumental. The very moment you have a very weak media, then your impact will not be felt. Buhari came under 8 years, he has built second Niger bridge. Nobody is talking about that. Buhari is reconstructing Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano Road. Nobody is talking about that. Buhari has decimated Boko Haram. Nobody is talking about that. These are some of the tangible gains of the government and nobody is talking about that.
We'll narrow it back to Niger.
Let's narrow it back to Niger.
Yes.
Put it vis-a-vis our resources. Because whatever you're going to do is tied to the resources. Niger State government has not gotten up to 6-7 billion naira at a go. Now our current wage bill is between 4 to 5 billion naira, all put together. So now you look at the inflation. If, for example, you could put up this structure in 2007 to 2015 when PDP was in government at the rate of 1 billion naira, the reality today is different. So these are the issues. You make comparative analysis when you're making a case for your principal.
So virtually what Bello Ibrahim is trying to tell us is that virtually there is a failure in communication.
Of course. Take Abdullahi, for example, in this government and nobody's giving any information.
Yes.
I don't even know the name of the Commission of Information. That's a statement of fact. Yes, take Abdullahi from this government. Who else is giving information? Nobody. We only see reportage of events of the governor or event of the deputy governor. Nobody writes officially to make a case for the government.
Okay.
And that is the constraint.
That's the constraint. Okay, now it's like, it's a weakness that we all know, that we can see clearly.
Right.
Okay, so it's something that we know that the incoming government of Bago and Yakubu have people like you at hand. What do you think you're going to do to change the narratives from what we're seeing today?
I think we're already doing a lot, and Comrade Yakubu knows very well the importance of media. Already he has an assemblage of intelligent young people that are doing research on issues related to media. There are people that will undergo training on proper management of information, because sometimes it is not even just having the information or dishing out the information, it has to be done properly. I'm telling you, the next government of Umaru Mohammed Bago Comrade Yakubu will be media friendly, and Nigerians will get as much information as it ought to get to them. Because we understand that information is power, and people need to know what we are doing and why we are not doing some of the things they expect us to do.
Okay. What are we expecting?
I wanted to say something.
Yeah, when you look at the dilapidating nature of the state-owned media houses, I would just say it's totally a failure, because even the staff strength there is not something to reason about. And kudos to the coming of the private radio stations that we have now. That's what's informed the competitive nature of the information dissemination in the United States. So when you talk about the failure in the government of, or maybe I can say the media aids in passing out the activities of the government of the day, I can tell you yes, it's real, because I'm part of the government in the media house, and I know
the challenges you face when you go to them to
because
ask for
the moment I get prepared to go to work in the morning, but on reaching the gates of my station, I'll just get frustrated and discouraged of going to do something in the studios. So the whole thing just gets out of my head. The coming of Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Babu and Comrade Yakubu Baba did know the importance of the media right from the one before they were even nominated as the aspirants. So I believe we are going to have a change in the media sectors, because when you look at the past administration of the chief servant, Governor Muazu, he has done so many things in seeing that he puts the radio stations in place. But now we have about 5 to 6 booster stations in Niger State. We have the New Busa, we have the Mokwa, we have the Soleja, we have the Contemporary, and we have the Bida booster stations. But none is working as at today. I think it's only the Bida booster station is working, and the BCNS, that's the Broadcasting Corporation, that's the AM station. I think since the regime.
But sometimes I want to believe that it also begins from the setup.
Yes.
Because when you don't set up things to the standards they need to be,
that's
it
what I'm saying.
doesn't last to the test of time.
The government of Muazu Babangida and you tried its best. That's after the administration of the late Kuri, because Kuri was the one that did a lot in saying that he bought some transmitters for the AM stations.
But I also enjoy what Governor Bello has done.
Yes.
Especially the NSTV, which now has a new look.
Yes. But go to the FM station. The NSTV doesn't go far, I believe. Does it go far?
It does.
It does, because it's now in the start times.
Yes,
it's now in the start times. But the radio goes to the grassroots. So I think the attention should be given to the radio station. The present administration of Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello did wonderfully okay with the importation of the digital equipment installed in the studios of Crystal FM 91.3, and of course we are having about 3 transmitters now. Yeah, we have about 3 transmitters now in the FM station, and you have seen the upgrade in the frequency. We are using 91.2 before, now it's 91.3.
Wow.
So yes, it's an upgrade in the frequency. So, and the government of Abubakar Sani Bello has done a lot. Well, even the structures there in the FM station, you can see, if you go there now, you can see there is a change. So I believe Right Honorable Umaru Mohammed Bago is going to pick it up from where Abubakar started.
I think you just got it right.
Yeah.
It's like it's mostly at the tail end of the government now that their eyes seem to have opened to realize the importance of the media. It's true.
And also riding on that,
yes.
How do the Bago administration intend to strengthen the media industry now that we've identified that it needs to be at the forefront in terms of the sectoral arrangement of privatization? So how do they strengthen the media industry in terms of specifications?
What are we expecting?
What do we expect exactly?
Presently now, I think we have just NTA, that's the electronic media, as well as NSTV. Hopefully with the coming of Bago, we expect to see Channels Television, TVC, Arise TV have their studio in Mina. Because of our proximity to the FCT. That is on one hand. Secondly, Bago and Comrade Yakubu Baba will entrench a new ideal in such a way that people will not just be given appointment as SSA on media, where it only ends with copy and paste. Let's let it be such that you can add value, you can develop content, you can do research, you can opinionate where it is necessary. And ultimately, we want to see the horizon being broadened. We just talk about some booster stations that are not functional at the moment, which of course needs to come on stream. We want a situation where conveniently the government can, from Crystal Radio in Mina here, talk to the entire Nigerians. Because when the information is being segmented, information that is supposed to cover the entire population, and due to avoidable factors, such information is being segmented, then definitely there will still be issue. Somebody from Aguara should not be deprived from knowing that Bago actually commissioned a project in Mina today, because that is what the radio is out there to serve, to inform, to enlighten, to educate and entertain. So ultimately we want to have a new beginning, and that's why we are championing the slogan, the new Ninja, and by the grace of God it will be a different perspective from 2023.
I was actually happy when he spoke, but then he made mention that we're bringing TVC channels and other stations. Then if you bring everything here, what's going to happen to us, the local stations?
Time is not on our side, but I'd like to conclude by saying that there is going to be massive training and retraining of the staffs in the media houses, and of course the recruitment of professionals in the media sectors.
Those with passion for the work.
That is it. And lastly, he mentioned on the show that we have best of the best in information dissemination in Niger State.
Well, thank you very much. Really, the time is not even enough for us to discuss further.
Yes.
But this further shows that media is a very important sector that we really need to talk about. And by the special grace of God, if there is still enough time, we'd still like to have you both back to the studio so that we'll discuss further on some of those things. It becomes an eye-opener to an average Nigerian. So this is still the White Cap Crusade, a production of the Bago Media Centre. I'm my humble self, Ambassador Isyaku Baba, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Hadiza, Abdullahi, Kano. Won't forget to thank Abdullahi Kuta, a broadcaster, journalist, and the team lead, who I say Team Hajia for Bago Yakubu. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that on social media. Right. Thank you for coming on the program. In 5 seconds, what's your word to viewers watching us out there to vote for Bago and Yakubu?
I would like to urge our viewers to go out and canvass for support massively from the grassroots, because the grassroots are the real voters. They should canvass massively for votes for Right Honorable Umar Mohammed Bago and Comrade Yakubu Garba to make sure that we have a better Niger State.
And then from Bello Ibrahim, who is an aide to Comrade Yakubu Garba. I'm sure he's also a very known face on social media. Okay, in viewers, I want you to convince the viewers out there why you think Bago and Yakubu Garba are the best candidates.
Bago Yakubu Garba represents the rebirth of Niger State. They are young, intelligent, and energetic. Niger State is at the crossroad, and we need leaders that are purposeful, leaders that have demonstrated characters over time. And that is what Bago and Comrade Yakubu Garba represents. We know what Comrade Yakubu Garba did as a Labour chairman. We know what Bago has done as a representative for Chanchaga Federal Constituency. This is one person that was voted thrice in Chanchaga Federal Constituency, the most civilized federal constituency in Niger State. That does not come as an accident. So as a young person that has a passion for women and youth, and you can see the problems bedeviling the society mostly affects women and youth. So the coming of Bago and Comrade Yakubu Garba will definitely usher in a new dawn for Niger State.
Oh, thank you very much. Bello, are you from Chanchaga?
No, I'm from Shiroro.
Well, you said the most civilized.
Of course, they are.
Right, peace out. Peace out.
Well, that is why we come to the end of the program today. From me, Hadiza Abdullahi, it's been a very interesting program. Thank you for joining us on White Cap Crusade. Over to you.
That's all. That's all.